We can begin then. Welcome, everyone. I feel this is a joy in my heart to meet the beings who want to discover themselves inside them, beyond their personal life, or what we normally know as a story of life. Because at one point I was also very much involved in my story of life, of this life, and that was the blind spot in a way. Too involved in the story of life and not getting time or or maybe the perspective to to wonder who I am, who is living this life, no, this life story. Like it was really as simple as this to to wake up to what we are. I mean, it seems like somebody has to remind you a little bit that have you have you looked into this direction? Because the engagements of life are uh, sometimes too promising, like promising nice experiences, joy, and like this, and sometimes also a sense of emergency is experienced in this life where I must attend immediately something and like this. But I feel anybody who kind of knows something deeper than the usual way of living life is the one who stops for a moment or two and wonders where I'm going and what is this life which where I'm moving no right now, and most importantly who I am. like this. If you feel that somebody is one day going to come to you and give you time to contemplate on these things, I don't think it will happen like that. You will have to take time. You will have to manage in some way your life that you have some time for these things, because these things don't really fall in any category of activity. It is not really an activity in itself. Like I cannot really put even these things in a more Eastern conventional spiritual activity also, even, you know, because spiritual activity also is more somehow gets connected very quickly to to what we call my life story. Then this unknown entity start meditating and doing things unknown to itself, because they are fine the way you are connecting to them, as long as you are not falling out of the human range of minimum maximum acceptable behavior, or what we call it. But it is your job, your responsibility, to wonder where I'm going really, because I feel that being in a group always gives a very nice feeling of support, and and a fear of falling is reduced, fear of going wrong is also reduced. But then the limitations of the group also become your limitation. So you have to stand alone, if not whole day, maybe few minutes, few hours on your own, observing where I'm going, what I'm doing. No? Like this. This is more than sufficient to wake up actually, because to wake up you don't need tools, you need desire basically, like like or maybe the first encounter with the fact that I don't know myself. Like this is what probably we need: encounter with the fact that I don't know myself. No? I want to give you this rather than giving you a technique or a process or a new journey. I want to give you this. I want to invite you to stop, and let's wonder who are we, who are sitting in this room and who are joining online also, like this. Who are we people? Like who I am really, and as I said, it's not like a new practice given to you now. Sometimes I jokingly also say, for me, this guided meditation is like most spiritually unproductive time. Let's spend some spiritually unproductive time. Like nothing spiritual will be produced out of these meetings. At this meeting, let's say right now. And I know it is going to be so amazing for you if you really want to see something radical in life. Radical. Because what is our imprisonment if not our engagements? And what is mind if not movement of energy? We were just looking together no, today, enjoying on the beach and some chai we were having. No? That mind is a it seems like a imprisonment, like it has some walls, and how to get out of it. Like this, it feels, and it is a very genuine report. It's not like somebody is exaggerating or something. It is not like mm, it doesn't seem like a wrong report. It looks like that we are kind of caught up in the mind. No? So, but when looked deeply, what is found or what is seen is that mm, it is more like a like energy moving. If you have seen in any high this science fiction movies, like rays, energy rays are moving very fast in different direction, and they create a globe, like a globe of energy, like this. And now anything inside that globe cannot get out of it, like this, in any direction. There are no walls. In fact, there is no container also, by the way, in the mind, like a solid container which is going to be there even if there is no content. Even that is not there. What keeps mind moving is what keeps mind alive. So when mind is moving, it is alive. When mind is not moving, it is not alive. Meaning it is just not there. There's just nothing here. It's just empty space. And that empty space is the space of presence of your being. And this small mind space is happening in the vast space of the being that you are. So when you are in the mind, effectively, you are in the presence also, but not living as the presence, because kind of looks like caught up in the mind in some way. Or maybe you believe that you are not in the presence, not getting chance to look at what it is that surrounds me inside myself. What is that in which thoughts happen? You know, because the space of the mind and the space of the presence are not two really. This is exactly same space. What divides it is invisible wall of activities only, and that is driven by your engagement with them. And that's why it is suggested to just stop, don't do anything, just stop. But mostly we are not able to stop. Like if we try to stop, a lot of restlessness erupts like a volcano from inside ourselves. So you are then suggested, then do seeing, what I call simple seeing. Also self-inquiry, very powerful way to turn your attention inward. Inward means what? Inward means into the field of presence or being. And when you look inside yourself, deep inside yourself, it basically means you are looking from the mind space into the field being space, into the presence space, like this. This is the relative perspective, you can say, when we normally are. So mind, when you look at it from the deeper space of yourself, the presence space, it is seen as a function, or like a series of activities, not like something which is independent of you, like this. Or maybe independent of you in the sense of entertaining the body activities, for example, because mind continuously is engaged in protecting the body, like functioning of the body, filtering of the things that are coming to you, judging, analyzing, what do you call, concluding things like this. So all of this engagement also will continue. That's why it is very important somehow to discover who you are, because without that, it is not going to be possible to see this what I'm sharing with you. That mind is a function, is an activity, not a an independent reality. You are an independent reality, but mind is not. So engagement is the fuel. Disengagement is the way to get to be free from mind. Engagement. Can we go further in this little bit? Because I feel it is important before we enter into this inquiring together. Then engagement, like what engagement? Who is engaged? Like this is also an important thing. Like mind is a space. Activities are taking place. Body activities taking place. Beliefs are there about the body and about everything else that have been learned from the culture, from the society, like this. Then who is engaged in this? In this, the there is a pure space of presence which is not engaged. When it is discovered that I am this presence, it doesn't feel it is engaged really. Then what is engaged really with the mind? I have always shared, no, like this, that it looks like life inside us is like a layered architecture where layers begin at a very gross level to subtle to more subtle to more subtle to very very subtle, like this. And this is how life has achieved different functioning. The pure presence is free, like a space in which everything is happening. So what is engaged with the mind is not the mind, but it's not the pure presence also. It's like a mix of both, like a mix of both, like a middle layer, you know. So this middle layer can actually access the mind and can access the presence also. You can say like this. So when you ask yourself who I am, it will reach to the mind first. But if you can keep focus on I rather than on what I thinks, I feels, then you will come to this middle layer also, where you are not so much of mind right now, but you are not so much of a free presence yet also. And if you continue still here, same thing, then you reach to the deeper presence, which is actually totally always free. Right now also, in each one of you, this is how it is right now. It's not going to happen tomorrow. You know? And this is the miracle of inquiry or miracle of seeing clearly that this middle layer will present itself as yourself, or you will live as this present layer after dropping out of mind. Before that, you live as mind. When you look, then you discover I am deeper than mind. Then you live as this middle layer, which is a mix of mind and pure being. And then you again look into it, and you feel I can see it actually somehow. I'm not really how I can be it when I can see it. Like this. And then a deeper space opens up for you like this. This is the miracle of seeing, inquiring. Like anything which receives your light of seeing, neutral seeing, kind of makes you free, gives way for you to go deeper like this. It's a very natural process. But what happens is, at any given point of time, you are something, you are somebody. Your mind is like this. For example, in the beginning, so you will think, look, try to understand, and achieve, and store things in that manner. Now you are mix of presence and mind. Now in this manner also you will try to do the same thing, achieve things, store things, live life, try to achieve stability, and like this, which is a natural thing. There is nothing like a mistake anybody is doing. But I'm just trying to highlight these things. That if a seeker of truth is planning to go all the way to the truth without stopping anywhere in this life only, in this time only, in this, let's say, decade only, how to say, then this is really not a good idea to keep concluding things at every level, keep trying to understand them at every level, and furthermore, even we start sharing them also with others at every level. That okay, I have reached like this, and we we get too attached to it that we start confidently sharing it as if it is the truth. Like this is the truth. Like this we say. No, it's not yet truth. Stay open and see. Life will show you more and more. You know? So I don't think it is the best way really. It's kind of going to really take 10 times more time than it will take when you live your outer life on a standard mode, what I call autopilot, in a kind of minimalistic approach, practically and in a standard way living, not like so much spiritual and like this. And conserving all your energy. So like it is like separating your outer life with this looking, going diving into yourself. Anyway, cannot be separated forever, but just for the purpose of effectiveness of the effort, not mixing everything. Like because there seems to be like an impulse to test everything that we know outside. Like okay, so I have experienced peace today. Let's see how I will feel when I go to drum circle today. You know, like this impulse we have. We keep checking like this. But it is a very inefficient way of knowing yourself actually. I mean, I'm telling you out of my experience, it's a very inefficient way of knowing yourself. If you want to go all the way, if you want to know the bottom, rock bottom of yourself, it's not an efficient way really. I would say efficient way is to keep looking, keep going deeper and deeper inside yourself, as long as there is any space and as long as there is anybody left also. This is also something to be understood. As long as there is any space inside you to go, there is somebody also who can go in it. When you reach to the very bottom of yourself, there is nobody found. This traveler who was looking deep in itself is not found here in this light. Just light. And you say, I am this light. You cannot say, I am the same guy who started this journey and trying to reach to the bottom of myself. It feels like on the way somehow this guy dissolved. He kind of left behind somehow. And this is where this what I explained today will make sense to you. Like it will make more sense to you probably now. Because it's not like you dissolve and now you live as light only. It is also a possibility, but mostly what I call revelation of truth also happens. Like now the light comes out. Now it will come out from the pure space of being into this middle position, which is a mix of presence and mind. It will enlighten this also. And the knowledge will reach here, true knowledge, that I am pure presence, I am pure being. This is not pure being, but it will know I am pure being. And then it will reach to the mind field also, ultimately, maybe not immediately. Here at the mind field also, you know that I am the pure light. Now there are no confusions. In practical life also, doing everything, like everything has become one now. You know. Practical life has to be practical life. Nobody can nobody can eat a bread like a witness. It is also not really the idea of life. This is not how life wants you to do. By the way, this is my version of understanding. Life wants you to eat the bread as body, not as a witness. Life wants you to think in the mind as a thinker, not as a witness. But this witness is not something like an activity or like alternate that when I'm eating food as body, I cannot be a witness. Or when I'm a witness, I cannot eat food as body. No, it's not like this. It is something like a parallel. You are a witness and the body and the food and everything actually ultimately. So you are fully enjoying food as body, totally as body. And yet the witness is always here. This is a witnessing presence, not your presence. It is actually the universal presence of God, you can say. Like this, I wanted to share today. Like I shared with you, Peter. I shared one time. No, I will just change it a little bit. I would say that eat like body, and flow like wind. Stay like space, and see like witness. Like this. It means experience life as it has to be experienced. Otherwise, it creates such a conflict inside us that what could be enjoyed so deeply, what could be lived so deeply, is not lived. Because I have to watch myself. It is okay as a practice. But that's not how it is going to be when you are free. Then you are more body than ever. Then you live as more body than ever, actually, like totally like body, because there is no rejection or resistance to being body now, because you don't have fear of losing yourself. I mean, what can be lost has been already lost now. What could be lost in this process has been lost. And what is lost actually is seen more as ignorance, as self ignorance. Not anybody or anything. Nothing was lost. Nobody is lost here in this process. Only the self ignorance is lost. Like this, I invite all of you, if you want to look in these directions, and if you want my help for this, to understand also what I shared, but in a more real sense, not in a philosophical sense. I mean, broadcast is fine. The quality is fine. Okay. Like, is it under in this minimum maximum range? Because if it is too low, also something can be done. Like too slow, something can be done, or too fast, also like this.
Hello, Rajee. I found an answer now for my situation about engagement. And I feel now that I have some kind of problems with that, because I feel that beautiful space of witnessing, and I can see my mind also. But this middle layer is a kind of problem to get there for me. So maybe I'm here to explore how to get to this engagement, because I feel that my interest to go in to engagement is less now when I'm far from mind.
I mean, are you saying that you have a different problem than most seekers of truth? Meaning, you want to engage more now with the mind?
Yeah.
Are you saying like this because you don't feel interest in going in the mind?
Yeah, I feel that I need to engage uh, to do something with my witnessing. I don't feel that I need to do something actually, but this engagement is a part of my interest now. How to get there? If you understand me, it's a kind of motivation for me to connect all this part together, not just witnessing.
I'll explain to you a little bit, and then we can actually look deeply together, because this deep looking together is a very amazing thing. So like what I'm looking at, like what I'm seeing right now in this is, like you say that there are parts, different parts, no? How to put them together? You are saying like this. Nobody can really put them together in this way, because you have to be something, you have to be someone in these parts at any point of time. When you are mind, then you are trying to put together, stitch together your presence, let's say, or the middle position, and the witnessing also. when you are the middle position trying to stitch together the mind field and the witnessing field, and when you are the witness, like this. Is it not like this? Or are you something totally separate from the parts? You are like a master, like you are owner of these parts and you are separate from them. Is it like this? Or you are one of the parts and talking to me now that how can all these parts come together?
I don't feel myself separate. It just coming as a moment. Sometimes I feel myself that I just lost, but I feel good. I feel like a, a lot of presence and feeling. But sometimes it's like, wow, where am I? What's going on? And I need like to have this engagement to make something.
I very quickly will go through something. It is like this. Whatever can speak in us has to be somebody, no? Like like you cannot say that you don't exist, At any point of time, if I ask you, you can say I'm body, it is fine. You can say I'm mind, or I'm the presence, or I'm the witness, whatever way you explain or define yourself authentically, not like philosophically. That would be basically your position within yourself, let's say, like this. And these positions actually have different point of view or perspective. A different perspective is created out of every position. And when you have access to more than one position, and not at the same time, but alternatively, it creates a lot of confusions. So that's what seems to be happening to you. That sometime you are in the mind field and the perspective is very clear. You are you, this is I, everything is fine. I can interact and communicate very nicely. But then the deeper space opens up. Mind is not absent fully, but it is not present also fully. So like partial mind is present and the the presence, deeper presence opens up for you now, which creates a very different perspective now. And it becomes confusing, like what I'm supposed to do. This kind of confusions are mainly intermediary stages of being, when being is waking up like this. I feel there is only one thing, wi- like basically what we are talking right now is what we know as DIY, or how to say DIY. We are talking about DIY awakening process, isn't it? Do it yourself. Yeah. So basically, you are asking me how to do it yourself. Like, isn't it like this? Like how you can do it yourself at home, which is valid, no?
Not doing by myself,
Eh?
not at home. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It was a bit of a sarcastic comment, actually. What I mean is that we are trying to wake up in our home and we are trying to get that secret formula, process, or steps which can lead me to my full awakening without any disturbances. That's what we want, basically, when you are asking me like this. And it is okay. I feel it is okay because this is the desire of life. So it is fine. So then I will say there's only one thing I will tell you. Only one, not even 1.1. That is, only stay as the seer. Do nothing else. If you want to avoid turbulence, disturbance, confusion, because there are more confusions on the way than you can experience right now. So if you don't stay as the seer, you are not safe. You will indulge. What is affected when things change? Like sometime I'm like a person, sometime I'm like a presence. It is a very common experience of seekers who are going deeper. You know, but this is not the problem. The problem is who is troubled by it. With this who is a very strange kind of state. Like it is another part of the same mind field, which basically lives in mind and the presence also both. Like this. It's like a mix of both. Just look into it. So either keep checking who I am, like who is troubled basically, rather than moving or deciding anything that what should I do now, or you just stay as the seer, nothing else. It will resolve everything. Because only from the true space of seeing, the stable, stillness of our being, that light comes, which can harmonize everything into a perfect awakening, you can say. Perfect awakening is where body and mind is very nicely integrated into the deeper space. All the levels have a version of true knowledge as per their own capacity. Like body feels also nice in some way, mind also, but they don't have conflict. Body doesn't feel I'm separate from the presence or the mind. Mind doesn't feel I'm independent of the presence like this. You know, mind becomes very transparent, you can say. This is the meaning of open mind. Open mind means transparent mind. Doesn't believe so much. Believe mind which has a lot of belief is like a closed mind. So when the mind is closed, although it is in the space of presence of being, but cannot experience the presence. But it is when it is open, being can see through the mind. Mind can reflect the being also like this. It becomes a perfect view like this. No disturbance, no problem. Because body will do body's job. Mind will do mind's job. Presence does not do any job. It is only present. But it is the power of presence that mind moves, that body moves. So like this. Just see who is confused. So either whenever any trouble, check who is troubled right now. I am troubled. Look into the I who is troubled. And more light will come in. More harmony will happen. Like this. It makes sense?
Yeah.
I have no intention to to judge or define any one of you, anyone in this world actually. But I feel like a traveler. No, I have been a traveler on the path of spirituality, and I feel I'm sharing a traveler's log actually, nothing more than that. There's no pride in in knowing something which is so great in itself that it can bless every aspect of yourself. Really, I don't feel pride in this, but I feel a impulse in me to the joy to share this log, and it may help in some being can be helped by this. No, I feel this. So this is the intention that some beings may be helped. So I'm just sharing this story sometime like this. Solve this simple problem. Who are you? It will solve everything, and it is not difficult to solve. I want to tell you. Just ignore the ideas you have adopted from the past, ideas of enlightenment and connected experiences and things like this. Just ignore that. Begin with simple seeing and in inquiring into yourself, either through simple seeing or through the direct self inquiry. It covers everything. It takes care of turbulence, disturbances, and many things. You are in a much better position to see your constructs being deconstructed inside yourself, one after another, or being reconstructed also. Many of the constructs are reconstructed also, like mind constructs are deconstructed and reconstructed. Like this. If somebody want to interact, please do so, or we will end this meeting soon.
So, like we were talking yesterday, like, this inquiries starting with a thought always, and then it goes to the feeling and who is feeling it, and then you see that you are feeling it. Like you see that you are seeing it. I think, like we said yesterday, it looks like a stopping point. But then you asked why you want to stop, right? Actually, I was giving some thought about it. And I think it's the idea you answered it today, like the idea that you have to, because when you're doing it, there is a doer always. This, even the doer becomes very subtle. The effort is very subtle. There is still a remembrance. You need to keep that remembrance of that, the seer space. Once the remembrance is gone, you're lost in the body mind.
Yes.
So the idea is, you, like you said, you want to bring it to the practical life too soon. Like I have this idea that this remembrance is something spiritual. This is spiritual life.
Yes, yes,
Then
yes.
bring it to the simple life.
Yes.
And at some point you feel, okay, this is my current truth. I'm not empty. There are these thoughts, and thoughts are sometimes, these are cunning thoughts. But you see them, and you see that you are seeing them, but there is always, I have to keep that remembrance. Then that,
You want to keep.
like you have to keep. Otherwise,
You
if
have to
you,
keep.
yeah, if that remembrance is not there, even though it's very subtle, the doer is, it's a doing. It's a goal, or there is still that becoming of, of that desire to see or be the seer, and then you you're a little bit aloof from life. You, because you cannot involve much. If you involve, you get lost. So but I want to involve, be normal, be simple, at the same time connected with, be the seer, being the seer and spontaneous at the same time. So when you're remembering, there is no spontaneity. There is, you are not, you are a little bit staying aloof. So
Yes. So, what is the question?
how to be spontaneous and remember the seer at the same time? Is it?
This can only happen when you fully settle in your true self, or the knowledge of it, or how to say recognition of it. You can say, because it is found that there is one part of awakening is recognition of what you are. Let's say as the seer, but then another part is integration of it into our day-to-day activity. But that integration mostly sounds to our ears as if I have to do it. No, you don't have to do it. If you have to do it, then you won't be able to do the first job of recognizing yourself and settling into that first. That's the only job we have to do. Recognizing ourselves beyond the personal space and more settling into that space. When you are settling into that space, outer life may be affected a little bit because motivation is less, inspiration is less. Then doing things in a standard way can take care of it. But mostly the energy again comes back, rise, like it rises back. And when it rises back, it by itself tries to integrate itself in the body mind space or that life, you can say, and it resolves many things and corrects many things also. Like misunderstandings are removed. Uh, like in the mind field, there are two type of thoughts, you can say. One thought is a standard thought, like this is like a factual thought. There are factual thoughts like this happened, that happened, like this, some fact reported, recorded. And there is another type of thought which is you can say I thought, which is not independent I thought. It is like a thought which is influenced by I, colored by I thought, like this. So there are certain thoughts which are colored by I thought. I feel so, I felt, I thought, I looked, I found, like this. This is also a thought only. There is no I in it. It's like I thought is I felt bad, like this. This felt bad, and I all of this is one thought, like this. And these kind of so you can say it is like a thought which has a stamp of ego. Ego is basically a false identity through which we live when we don't know ourselves. So it is not that there is an entity anywhere. It is you when not knowing yourself. You call it I. Let's say, So this is the I basically, but it carries that flavor of self ignorance also. So now when this true light of your being comes out into the field of mind, it removes these thoughts also. Most of these thoughts are thrown out because there is no need to correct them, repair them. Like repairing, like I felt bad when this person did this to me in past. Like they are just thrown out mostly. There is no need to repair them. This is how you feel when you are living in the light of your own self and the joy of yourself. Like it's fine, let go everything. Why should I repair these things and think who was right, who was wrong? All of these things mostly are left alone, and they die by themselves. Like they are kind of washed out in a way. But still, mind functioning continues more or less. Sometimes even much more than before. Like one sometimes becomes much more intelligent actually than before at the mind level. When also creative. Many things like this happen. But it's not our job to integrate this light into the word activities. That's the mistake I'm trying to highlight today. That every time we know something, we try to rush out and try to integrate it into mind. That's the way of what I call gradual way of spiritual growth and like this, which is perfect for most of the being, and there is nothing wrong in that also. But you are asking something totally different. That's why I'm telling you like this. You are asking how to be totally what I am, stay as myself, and yet connect with the day-to-day activities. You cannot do it. You means the seeker who is still not clear about who you are cannot do it, and there is no need to do it also. It is again that inefficient way of waking up. And I can understand the need because it feels like if I cannot use this spiritual growth in my practical life, what is the use of it? Like this it feels. I can understand this. Okay. It is like there was somebody who had a uh, hen who used to give a golden egg every day. And he thought it's a nice idea. She must be keeping all the golden eggs. So he did cut her like this. So you are cutting this hen. Don't cut it. It will give you golden eggs every day. Like this, I will say. Because this you is not really a pure state of yourself yet. It's a more diluted state, more mixed state of the being. You won't be able to really decide the correct thing for you right now. Better to come home first and from your own light see everything. Then what is found is normally you feel you feel that the body and mind and everything is the way it is flowing is already so perfect actually. You cannot perfect it more anymore. Like when you are in your true space, that's how it feels. Mainly because of your joy of being at home, joy of relaxing, joy of feeling that completion which you were longing for whole life. And also, you have very clear eyes now. You can really see that it just makes no sense for me to push my body and mind too much to perfect. Rather, I give them space so they perfect by themselves like this. And they do actually, by the way. Mostly they to perfect themselves by themselves. Did I answer your question?
Basically, I keep on remembering. Let's say the remembrance has a little bit of effort, but the remember will be lost by itself. You cannot make it
You cannot make it. Yeah.
happen.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, you can experiment in your day-to-day life, the spiritual knowledge that you have achieved. There is nothing wrong in that, but don't mix it with your awakening. These are two separate things. That's what I'm saying. Awakening is the core and only going to solve all the problem, let's say, or the fundamental problem. What is the fundamental problem? Is there anybody who knows what is the fundamental problem in their life? Or is there any problem? Because maybe sometimes it is the case that there is no problem really you have, and just you kind of boarded this what you call roller coaster of spirituality because everybody else was going on this way. Now the problem is how to get out of it. Maybe this is the case. So I don't know. Like I just want to get out of it. That's all I want. I don't want to reach anywhere. Some being might be like this, no? And I want to just live a normal life, like a normal life. You know, not a spiritually normal life, but actually normal life. Because I have met some beings, I'm not joking. I met some being who said like this to me that I'm not, if I can somehow go back to the how to say premeditator phase of myself, I will be so happy. I just don't want to get into this tunnel where I am right now. I'm not finding any way out of it backward, and there is nothing outside. In front, it looks like dark. I can understand this. Not because I am a great Gyani, but because I have gone through it. So my experience correlates, like I can sense what they are feeling also. And this traveler's log can help them in some way. I feel that if they listen carefully. Because what I'm sharing is a traveler's log only. That's how it has been for me. It may inspire you in some way, help you in some way, make you easy, comfortable in some way also maybe. You will find yourself. So I'm not really giving anything to anybody, including any teaching or anything. Nothing. So what do you feel is your problem really? Do you have any problem, or is there any problem you have, or do you know what is the problem if you have any?
Now the problem is, as you said, the let's say the same spirituality and got into this and this nightmare of enlightenment.
It's very funny, but very true also. I mean, experientially, it feels like this. That can I just enjoy my cup of coffee today without being bothered by anything? Just me, the beach. It's so beautiful space actually. Arambol is actually very nice. Just me and my coffee. And it's totally fine if I'm found to be the most ordinary being in this world, but can I just enjoy it? Isn't it like I want to tell you, I can enjoy it now, like this. And at times it is, I need to be reminded to get out of this, being absorbed, like, so that I can come here on time and like this. It is possible. It is natural for you. It's just that you have picked up some idea of perfection from outside. Now you are following that. That's all. That's all. Even if you are not enlightened, you are free to live and be happy. Actually, like this. But until I reached home, like this is the problem. will not stop. For some being, it is necessary. It's not that for every being it is going to be like this. For some being, it is necessary because they are not enjoying life anymore. So then it's okay for them. So anyway, they will not complain like this. But those who are complaining, probably they are not fully ready to reach to their depth, but also they are not ready to give up the oath that I will wake up in this life, like this. That's the conflict, that's the division. Be on one side. If you live fully, you will wake up. If you wake up, you will live fully. There are not two things really. So choose one of them, not both at the same time. They are not same, really. They take us to the same space of openness, but they are not same on the base. When you are on one path, it's not same. So it's nice. Or we want to say anything?
It's nice to know that you have reached back to that ordinariness. Nice. It
You
gives
don't.
me confidence, and
Yeah, you don't have to, but you do reach actually normally, because it is so amazing to be to be the body. So amazing to be the body without this seeker of truth. The seeker of truth is always judging you. You are like when you are the body, it is judging you. Oh my God, you are living as the body. When you are not the body, when you are trying to be a witness, no, you are not a perfect witness yet. So first the body was not perfect. Now the seer is not perfect. Like this, it keep bringing hell in your life. Just get rid of it. Just bring light onto it, onto this one who creates trouble in your life. You are free because you are actually free all the time. Except this busy bee, which you are riding. Let it flow. I say sometime, no, let your mind run, but you don't move. You are free to not move when your mind is moving. Just don't move. But then don't try to be spiritual because it is mind who is spiritual right now. Then it gets a job. Okay, let's do it. No, because half half your mind knows right now about spirituality. That's where mind comes in, like this.
anyway, we have to choose one path, as you said. Either you wake up, then live fully, or you live fully, and then you
You
automatically
will
wake
wake
up.
up.
Yeah.
Definitely, you will
Yes.
wake up. Guaranteed. It is guaranteed actually.
Yeah.
Like if you live fully means what? when the when a consciousness has reached to this level like you are speaking right now, there's no way to become like like a tree or something which is unconscious but integrated like this. Now you have already fallen out of the ocean in a way of yourself. Now there is no way but to fall back into yourself, but consciously this time. So if you let go of all the conflicts, what will happen basically? Like when I say just live fully means what? How will you live fully?
Without conflicts,
Eh?
without any
Without
conflicts,
any conflict. Yes. And what are conflicts?
ideas, not accepting the current what is,
Yes,
and
yes, yes,
want to
yes,
be.
yes. Ideas, and which are bringing you to in a certain state of rejection to what is happening in life. When you are not rejecting what is happening in life, it is more like flowing. You have already enough consciousness. already very quickly you will start noticing that there is a flow of life. Things are happening like a sweet flow. Everything is supporting everything, you know. And there's a witnessing of it also, already present. And once you start recognizing, meaning you notice. Recognition means noticing that there is something which is witnessing also this sweet flow, this total living, you know. Then you have started transcending also, transcending without any effort at at all actually. You are just living. But because you are conscious enough now, your consciousness will not be consumed now because you are not resisting to anything, making strategies in life or anything, isn't it? You are more flowing the way life is flowing. So your consciousness is free now. Either it will be engaged, consumed in the day-to-day activities, or it can notice what is the whole view of life. This is the whole view of life. No? Life is flowing as a one event, or how to say one being, whole being, like a ocean, and there's a witnessing of it also present already. You know, very naturally noticed. This is where both of these things meet. If you reach to the pure witnessing, life becomes very natural and ordinary, super ordinary actually. You don't feel rejection to anything. Why you would feel rejection to anything? Even you don't feel rejection for rejections actually inside you. I mean, it's not exaggerating. Actually, it is felt like this. You have rejection for something. It's fine. So what's wrong in that? You become so open and relaxed in yourself that I don't like this, I don't like that. It's also fine. It's human. It's human. You know, it's so nice talking to you like this. Huh? Anybody else want to say anything now? One thing I felt, I think I shared with you sometime maybe, that if I can, if I can, how to say, digest my ordinariness, then I'm open for recognizing and being my extraordinariness like this. Digesting means standing against the rejections that are coming in my mind in the form of opinions of others also, like that this is not nice, like because mind and identity in the mind lives on comparison. So what you are either good or bad. You cannot be just as it is. So standing against that, no, I don't value, like this. If my ordinariness can be accepted, like your ordinariness can be accepted by you fully, it becomes a door to discovery of your extraordinariness. Because there is just nothing in the way to discover your extraordinariness except your own engagement, that you are not free to discover it. When you become comfortable with your ordinariness, you become free. You become free from these engagements. And then you can actually at some time enjoy a cup of tea, just sitting, nothing, nothing bothering you too much or all the time. And you are consciousness. You do start sensing something beyond your body and mind naturally. Naturally, it is not really rocket science in that way. It's really very simple. So, so the so the sadhana, the path of sadhana, all this effort is for what? To make you free, not spiritually free, but generally free. Spiritually free is not free yet. That's what is the meaning of spiritual engagements. No? So there are two type of engagements. One is normal engagement with the body and mind, and then spiritual engagement is a new thing now. But somehow, if you can understand what I'm sharing, spend time with yourself, look around. If you are troubled, stay at the seer. That's the safest place possible. If you are not troubled, just look around inside yourself also. What is going on actually? Not what is going on and then I will reach there out of it. No, actually see what's going on really. Like where exactly I am when I say I am on in Arambol on 14th of December. You know, what exactly is this 14th of December and this time and this space? What exactly is this thing? Give yourself this luxury to to observe without any goal or purpose out of it. You will wake up fully to what is. No. Then I think if you're not asking anybody, then we will end this meeting now. Because if I ask you right now, who are you? Check yourself, then your spiritual mind will get activated immediately. You know, like, oh, okay, so I'm being given some job. This question is not really to be asked with some background that I asked like this and it worked in that way, and now today I will continue from there. It is to be asked fresh, like this. But somehow I notice, I sense that it very quickly gets, like mind very quickly adopts it and becomes the questioner, or how to say, inquirer, like this. No? Because this question will bring you to silence. Silence. Who I am. If it doesn't bring to silence, then it is more in the mind field. It will purify the mind field also. It is okay. If we really do like this, it will purify the mind. Like the gross mind will become subtle mind. You know, like this. It will lose weight of the ego when we inquire like this. Even in the mind, it's fine. But the most effective way of doing self-inquiry is to keep bringing attention onto yourself, not onto the goal of inquiry or the process of inquiry. Process of inquiry and goal of inquiry is in front of you. And even you will notice at one point that even the doer of self-inquiry is in front of you. So keep focusing on yourself. Who is left? Who is the very bottom of this whole process? You know, you will grow very fast in this. You know, like it's like I say, it's like mostly we are growing in horizontal dimension of ourselves. You will grow in vertical dimension like this. You will not explore the items in this particular field of consciousness, particular level of consciousness, but you will actually jump one level of consciousness after another like this. Just stay with yourself. Keep focus on yourself, not on something called yourself, but on actual yourself, who is actually you. You know, not something spiritual self or something, you know, like this, but who is doing the inquiry. You know, keep focus on this one more and more and more. And there's no need to be in a hurry or to be harsh on you. It cannot be really forced. More gentle but continuous. Soft but constant. You know, like focus is constant but gentle focus. Like I asked, I heard from some seekers, you know, they say that self-inquiry, they do self-inquiry and somehow they're not able to do it because they reach to some kind of a space And so that's why they are not able to ask question like, who am I? And the reason is they have fallen out of minefield where a question like this cannot be asked. But it doesn't mean that you cannot do self-inquiry here. You can actually. Don't think that self-inquiry means asking the question who I am. It is more wondering. Wonder. It's a wonder. Like, like what is this? This self-inquiry means this wonder. What is this? Meaning, what is this that I am? And like bringing more light in this direction. This is self-inquiry actually. So it is okay if you feel that you are not able to ask this question, who I am, but still your focus is inward, not outward. You know, focus is on in the direction of the seer, not in the direction of the seen. Then this is self-inquiry. As long as your focus is in the direction of the seer, it is self-inquiry. It is the self inquiring into itself. It is fine. Okay, then it's nice to have all of you here. Thank you.